back to talk Big Brother Canada 10. Almost 2 days to update on. A lot has gone down, including some drama. Gonna get to the drama later. The between Kyle and Jay. That'll be the tease for this video that I'll get to later. I think I'm gonna start talking about the Women's Alliance. I mentioned it on the rankings a little, that there is an alliance between Betty, Tanisha, Helena, and Summer. However, I don't really know if anyone other than Betty prioritizes that alliance. Because Helena, I think, definitely is tightest with Jess. And then I do think Betty and Tanisha probably are in the Savage 7 more than this alliance. So it's just poor old Betty out there with that alliance. Even though the frustrating part for the women in these games is you have Helena who talks to Jess a lot, and Jess wants to keep the women around, wants to target a lot of the men. So I don't understand why Helena doesn't try to be a bridge for Jess into this alliance. I mean, I guess it doesn't help that Summer has something against Jess, and rightfully so. As I talked about in the rankings, Jessica is very annoying, very anal, very aggressive in conversations, just a lot. But on a game level, it would help them all to get on the same page when the men could end up running this game, giving us an extremely boring season. I don't want to see a men steamroll from the bros. I'm going to call them the bros because some of them act like bros. Moose and Kyle get on my nerves a lot. They get on my nerves a lot. Helena has been playing her own game for sure. And I've talked about it both on the rankings and I think maybe in another update for the feeds, how Helena is good on one-on-one connections, but I think I need to explain more upon that, because on the rankings we talked about, I think I gave the impression today is that it was similar to Azah, but that's not the case, because Azah was good at like personal connections one-on-one. But I think Helena is good at game connections one-on-one, which I think is a difference. I mean, both work, honestly, on a social level. But I think Helena has a lot of people buying that she is their closest ally in this game. And she is someone, because of these connections, that could rally outsiders to the Savage 7 if needed. Now, Marty officially did nominate Jay and JC as his nominees, and before the veto, Jay was getting messy with Kyle, telling Kyle that he basically knows there's this guy alliance and he wants to target the guy alliance, and he's telling this to Kyle's face. And this will become important after the veto. But once again, before I get to that drama, let's also talk about Moose, who is really annoying. I don't like Moose. I think he is a bro-y type guy, and he's doing too much. This man is already talking about jury on week 2, when on BBCAN sometimes jury is not until the final 9, which means we're not even close to that. And even if it's at 11, we're still 4 weeks away from that as well. So Moose is doing the most, getting way too confident in this game. Same with Kyle, getting way too confident in this game on week 2. And I hate to see the guys, particularly with Gino, and it's those three for sure, Kyle, Moose, Gino, and then they're close to Marty, but they're also kind of close to Josh and Herman. Josh, meanwhile, continues to develop relationships in this game as well, similar to Helena, but at this point with probably more agency, just because he's closer to the guys who have the power right now. Josh is dangerous in this game. I do think he is the full package. However, I think Kevin sees that Josh is one of the most dangerous people in this game. But of course, Kevin has zero agency right now, zero alliances. He's not even tangential to alliances. He's just nothing. So I don't really know how Kevin can have a pull to get Josh out of this game anytime soon. But, I mean, he could keep trying, I suppose. Now let's get to the main drama of last night, which was after JC won the veto, saving herself off the block. And I should actually need to... Sorry, I'm going to have to put off the drama one last time before I get to the drama. Marty has been talking about, with everybody, we talked about it on the rankings, how he really wanted to target Stephanie this week, but they made that deal so he can't do it. But since then, I think he's finally realized that nobody will care if Marty goes back on that deal and puts up Stephanie as a replacement nom. Now, this was leading up to the vetoed competition when Marty was having this breakthrough, I suppose. But after Jay lost the veto, he started causing more drama, which I think will make Marty want to put up Kevin as a pawn again next to Jay, which is a dangerous spot for Kevin to be in. Not as easy as a pawn situation as the first week, I don't think. But then Jay has another conversation with Kyle, as they had earlier in the day, where Kyle is saying, Jay, you were coming after the guys, you don't have the numbers to stay, but Jay is convinced he can get 7 votes to stay. This escalates where Kyle says he looks forward to sending Jay home. Now, there are some other things said in this conversation, but clearly Jay does a very good job of getting under Kyle's skin during this conversation by calling Kyle out on the fact that he's in an alliance with a bunch of guys that got along. And so Kyle, who is showing himself to be an emotional player, has to go around retelling this story over and over to everyone in the house, which I don't think was the best look for Kyle. But then Jay walks in on one of these conversations where Kyle is retelling the story, and Jay starts to give his side of the story. And during this retell, Jay also mentions how Kyle was doing monkey noises. Now, to go back to that conversation with Kyle and Jay, Kyle did not make monkey noises, but there was a part of the conversation, and I wanted to play this on the video, but I don't trust copyright, so I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to try my best to explain how it went down. Now, Kyle, during this conversation, is talking about how it's exciting because, yes, Jay wants to be the guy to take down the big ones. And during this, he starts to act out an ape. He does. He is like this. And he's talking about the big guys, however. But he's like, I get it, you want to take down the big ones. Boom, 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 boom. So Jay takes that and says that Kyle was making monkey noises during this conversation. Now, if Jay would have said that Kyle was acting out a monkey, because he was acting out an ape, this is either an ape or a Vince McMahon strut. It's one or the other. Then he would have had a point. But the thing is, I don't think Kyle nor Jay are in the wrong here. What is in the wrong is both production and Twitter, of course, because production cuts the feeds during this conversation after Jay brings up the monkey noises. But I don't think Jay was bringing that up to completely call Kyle racist. I think he was telling his side of the story during that conversation with Kyle. Whereas Kyle was doing the same, like Jay was embellishing that maybe to be more negative, I don't know. But I mean, Kyle, when he was doing his 4 retells, he was embellishing the story as well. But Big Brother Canada cutting the feeds just makes the situation look worse, because then everyone on Twitter has to speculate, and they want to, half of them are enjoying Jay bringing the drama, and the other half are saying that Jay is going too far by trying to say that Kyle is a racist, even though that's technically not what Jay said. And Kyle technically did act out an ape. Maybe didn't make the noises, however, but it could have been misconstrued, his boom, 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 for monkey noises, even though he was referring to the big guys in the house, and I quote big because it's really only Gino. So I think this drama was actually just overblown by Twitter. Of course, like always, we had some people comparing Jay to Todrick, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I think Twitter's just upset that they couldn't, that Todrick no-sold. They're trying to cancel him and is back on tour. Trying to compare Jay to Todrick. But anyway, the situation was probably bad for both of them because Kyle kind of spiraled after this confrontation and had to go retell everyone that, which you would think would make Kyle look guilty, and like there is this guy's thing, which some of the women have started to speculate on anyway, those women mainly being like JC and Helena and maybe Stephanie and Betty a little bit, that there is a guy's thing. And I think Jess already wants to go after the guys anyway. And this maybe hurts Jay's chances of staying in theory, but not really. I mean, Jay already has at least 3 people, maybe even 4 people, who before the veto wanted Jay to stay over JC, and I think would want him to stay over Kevin. I mean, it's going to come down to who Marty renoms. At this point, it does seem like Kevin, who I think knows he's going to be upon again and is genuinely worried. You know, Kevin's been putting on this act with people that he's sad all the time and that he is, you know, just trying to get their sympathy. And some people fall for his act, but I don't know how. But at this point, I don't think he's acting anymore. I think it will be easy for him to go to the diary room and say he's acting, but he looks genuinely worried on feeds this morning because he's talking to himself. And so you know when he's talking to himself that you know he's actually worried. But something Kevin does do good with his act of victim noises is lure people in to give him game info. They will vent to him as he vents to them, but they give away more game info to him than they do to them, or than he does to them. And he has a lot of info on people and could definitely do some villainous shit with it in the future, which would be interesting if he can survive this week. Jay, look, Summer, Betty, Tanisha for sure want Jay to stay, I think. And he had Josh wanting him to stay too. Those two have a good connection because they both have some indigenous roots. But if the whole big guy thing and Josh thinks he's included in that, then that could hurt his chances with Josh. But he would still have 3. And then you have Marty, who's been talking shit and trying to put his target on Stephanie all week, but won't pull the trigger to actually put Stephanie up. And he also just put up JC. Plus JC and Jay, before they were nominated together, had a good connection. So those are 2 more votes he could get. He would need 7 though, because the 6 would be a tie. Then Jay could have Jay could have Betty's vote. They voted together last week. So I think it's rallyable. So it would really come down to if they could get Betty to vote to keep Jay, then it would just need to come down to getting Helena or get Josh. And Jay has a good relationship with Josh, and Helena has a good relationship with Betty, so it is no way near as much as Twitter seems to think that Jay is gone now. Hopefully this is one of the many times Twitter is wrong and Jay stays and we get more drama out of Jay. And I might just be saying that because he's on my draft team. But also he's the only person so far to bring any drama to the house. So, excuse me, they are the only person to bring any drama to the house. I ain't trying to misgender Jay. As someone who has done a lot of writing in my life, saying they for a singular person is very hard, does not come naturally to me whatsoever, grammatically. So at this point, it's going to come down to the renom, of course, which seems to likely be Kevin at this point. So it would be Kevin versus Jay. I think both will fight hard to stay, which will be interesting. But Somebody needs to target these dudes who could run the house at this point. The women are playing a good game, some of them, but they don't have as much agency as the guys right now unless they do a lot of winning. Summer's doing great. I love Summer. I think she's funny. I think she is, yes, she could be petty, and yes, she could stir the pot a little bit, but I don't think it's anything like harsh so far. She's funny. She's good with all the guys. It was funny today because, you know, fan guys write about Stephanie, how Stephanie thought she was going to come into this house and be the girl that gets by on her looks, while she couldn't even get anyone to spot her in the gym today. And then Summer walks in and Gino's helping her do pull-ups right off the bat, which I thought was funny. So Summer's personality and her cute looks gonna help her in this game with the guys, but she can't just rely on guys either. None of these women in this season could just rely on the guys if the guys stay close. One thing about Marty that's starting to annoy me is he low-key genuinely wants an all-white alliance, and it's annoying me because he wants to work closest to Kyle and Gino. Him and Gino are really close, and he wants to be closer to Kyle, and he's worked on that good as HOH. And he's trying to save Jess, even though an excuse for putting up Jay is that Jay voted wrong last week when Jess did the same. And now that Jay is creating drama, he's trying to work something and go back on his drama with JC and Stephanie. And I just find it very convenient how he would really rather work with all the white people, which makes me glad that the Savage 7 is so diverse. You know, we talked about on the last Survivor podcast how the games, it would be nice if the games could evolve to have more diverse alliances so that the black players don't feel like they need each other. But I brought up during that podcast how it is the white players that have basically dictated that there's these big white alliances all the time. So it's really up to the white players to change that. But then at the same time, it's like society can't even get past this. So how do we expect that to happen in these games? Another conversation I've had on this channel with Q during Real World Homecoming LA about when just about how identity politics and tribalism plays such a big part in people's identity these days that it's hard to ask players in these games to not feel the same way, I guess, at times. But Marty ain't slick in what he's trying to do. I see it, and it's annoying. And he's otherwise playing a decent game on a social level. Like, nobody is targeting Marty next, except maybe Stephanie. I would think that Stephanie would, or maybe JC, but I don't even know if those two have their head in the game enough to think that. But he's also not having this great HOH either, because he's been putting Stephanie's name out there. He has Jay pissed off at the guys. He's going to use Kevin as a pawn again, even though he told Kevin he wouldn't. So Marty's having a messy HOH. I don't think it royally hurts him right now, but I don't think he is as set up as he needs to be or that he wants to be. He wants to be set up great with the white players, but I don't know if it's going to happen. But this is where we are in the last 2 days of BBCAN. I think the renom will be Kevin. Maybe he goes back and he decides to put up Stephanie and go back on that deal because he notices people wouldn't care if he did. But I don't think he's going to at this point. I don't think he can rock the boat any more than he maybe already has. So it would be Jay versus Kevin. Jay could have the votes to stay. Kevin does not have enough close connections. Plus, if Jay is smart enough, and I don't know if he is, he might be too messy about it. But I think Jay needs to just say, hey, Kyle's my target going forward. And that he's not just completely going against all the guys. Because if Jay is targeting Kyle, why not keep Jay in the game a little longer for most people, because he's not targeting them.